In weather too now, we have the sun shining here at the Queen Elizabeth Oval as we find on the scoreboard Sandhurst a 5-3-33, Castlemaine a 1-3-9. That's the first quarter, 24-point advantage to Sandhurst. And two very good goals by Michael Lenigan, the Mickelson medal winner, and he's done it all this year. He's won himself a state Guernsey and in fact done most things in his career, especially this afternoon. And all he'd like to do, as I mentioned earlier, is top it off with a premiership for his brother Peter. Apparently the father played many games too with around the Bendigo area, and I think with the Sandhurst club, and in fact coached them. So the Lenigan family have a long association, and the other Lenigan of course is down playing with Carlton. So it's certainly a family which is studded in hereditary and studded in talent, and Michael Lenigan certainly is not letting them down this afternoon. He's playing a superb game, and somebody mentioned to me before the game that he's not a robust player. He doesn't go in all that hard for the ball, but he's an opportunist who certainly takes up every opportunity that comes his way, and many did in that first quarter. The big men fly again. Nice knock taken on that occasion by Javasani, getting it to the ground, and Castlemaine desperately trying to get back into this game with 24 points to their deficit, showing on that scoreboard. There'll be a free kick, should be awarded here, and I'd say that it will be taken right in the centre of the ground. The recipient will be Mick Allen, who certainly is a nuggety sort of a player and has been throwing his weight around pretty much to advantage so far. Only a good mark taken in defence. In fact, the umpire says it was good enough and will be taken from that centre-half back division, with Sandhurst getting out of trouble momentarily. They come to the broadcasting side of the ground. The big men will fly around here. Javasani punches it nicely to the ground once more. Mick Lenigan had the ball overrun him there. Once again, we find it's being picked up on this occasion by Peter Mills. Two very small men on the ground, Mills and Kamoff, and a beautiful pass slamming across there to his teammate in Brett Fitzpatrick. Umpire Graham Fellows falls over. It must be getting slippery. Big men fly down there. Off the top of the pack it goes. Opportunity here for the full forward in Wayne Crosby to do something about it. Certainly is not getting into the action this afternoon, but with limited opportunities, I would suggest that probably being very difficult for him. Umpire Graham Fellows, after falling over down there, must have Billy Pickens' non-stopless shoes on today, I think, as he will bounce the ball about 15 metres out from the Castlemaine goal. Big men fly. A Sandhurst knock taken off the top of the pack. Thought too high there and should have been a recipient of a free John Stevenson, but not paid, as we find it goes through for a minor score. 1-4-10, Castlemaine to score in the first minute of this second quarter, and 5-3-33 to Sandhurst, and now they enjoy a 23-point lead. Just waiting for it to be kicked out by Keith Cleve, well-known fullback, of course, in the Bendigo Football League, and a magnificent kick. He's dropped that about 75 metres into the centre of the ground. If that's against the breeze, it's certainly hard to pick. There's a free kick going to the Castlemaine side. They'll take it on the outer side of the oval there and bring it right down towards the centre-half forward division. Up over the pack it goes. No system up forward for Castlemaine at the moment, and certainly plenty of system as far as Sandhurst are concerned. Noel Belzer gets it out to the centre wing. This is going to be a clash of champions here, and by gee, the champion in that person was Gary Barber, and did it very nicely indeed. Gary Barber going to take it in front of us, and will drive it forward. The umpire watching and giving 15-metre penalty. There's Barber's kick onto the left boot. It wobbles its way in the Lenigan direction, punched to the ground, or tried to be, but couldn't. It eluded everyone. I think that breeze is a bit trickier than perhaps what we give it credit for. Running it through is Peter Rode. Rode gets it up towards the full forward division. Big men needed. They're certainly all there, but they don't take the ball with them. Defence now for Castlemaine coming into operation, trying to drag it back is Greg Hull. Will he do the job? He certainly puts it back in the general direction, but a classic mark has been taken down there, right in the last line of defence. I think he might have hurt himself too, and is it Peter Fife way down there? Just looking at the cameras here, right down, a fair way from our commentary position, but certainly a magnificent mark, and I think it might be Jeffrey's way down there. There's the kick onto the outer side of the ground. The big men flying again at to lose them. This wind, I think, might be a little bit more tricky than we give it credit for, as the free kick will be taken over there by Rick Gervasoni.
Well, golden square on the under-17s, and Castlemaine won the reserves game. Can Castlemaine win their flag this afternoon? They've waited a long time on the QEO for this big day, and of course they've got to get back into the game. They're just under 4 goals behind, but Sandhurst into attack from the centre of the QEO. A wobbly kick out towards centre-half forward, and leading in the race with Castlemaine are going to clear from their centre-half back position. It's all Sandhurst out here on the centre wing, right in front of the crowded grandstand on the QEO this afternoon, but it's going to be into attack for Sandhurst goes Noel Belsar, the half forward, and his neat pass in towards the centre-half forward position, and Sandhurst have mark. Umpire Darkerville setting the mark there for the Sandhurst player Gary Crouch. Been a relatively quiet player so far in this grand final. Crouch's kick, a nice kick into the wind, but it's going to be offline and through for a behind, and Sandhurst 5 goals, 3-34, leading Castlemaine 1-4-10.
Yes, very interesting. I just looking at before too that I don't think Cawthon in the centre and or Crouch have had much effect on this game at this particular stage. It seems to be the running players like the Camoffs and the Mills and the Lenigans who of course are running around the ground. And there's a nice long kick out there, and a nice long mark has been taken too over there by Gary Kerwin. Kerwin putting it in towards the pocket division. The big men will be needed here as up goes Fife, and I thought mark the ball. Does the umpire agree with me? Yes, he does, and it's going to be Peter Fife, the skipper, who certainly has been a stalwart. Must be reasonably hard to captain aside from that particular division, but no doubt he will control the situation. There's the kick out towards the centre wing division, cut short of that area, however, as Sandhurst again for the, inevitable 100th time going to attack, as we find once again Fife has got the ball. Goes for the long hand pass, looking here for Ian McClure. Can't find that player, and the hand pass goes astray, and what could have been a very good defensive action has turned into disaster as we wait now for another throw-in in the Sandhurst full forward division. Sandhurst certainly looking winners at the moment, but still a long way to go. About 75 minutes in this grand final as Castlemaine trying to get their system going, get around towards the centre wing division. Rather a negative kick out there, as running in underneath it was Gary Kerwin for the Dragons. Couldn't quite make the scene as it hits the picket fence, and we're going to see a throw-in right on the dead centre wing here at the Queen Elizabeth Oval.
Sandhurst 5 goals 4, Castlemaine 1-4. We've been playing 5 minutes now into the second quarter. Here's the throw-in on centre wing. The big men fly. No one gets an effective knockout. It's going to be Sandhurst coming out of the pack, and here goes a quick kick in towards the centre half forward position. Big player there for Castlemaine is McClure. He flies high. The umpire is going to come in and award the mark to big Ian McClure, the centre half back for Castlemaine. The Magpies this afternoon got to get back into this game. They're 20 odd points behind now, 24 points down in this, the grand final of the Bendigo Golden City Football League. And the ball from McClure kicked out towards the centre wing position, and it's off hands and out of bounds.
Waiting now for the throw-in to be taken slightly towards the attacking zone for the Sandhurst Football Club, as it has been for most of this particular game. Up they go, the knock taken there, but not effective by either club. Running in, trying to get underneath it, Ian McClure can't do much with it. The umpire still watching carefully as hand passing gets it to Gary Crouch. Crouch tries to centre the ball up to Lenigan, does so well. Lenigan shooting towards goal. Is he accurate? Gee, I think he's close. Let's see what the umpire says. And the 1 point, it must have been a whisker there, as we find that the Sandhurst Club now move to 5-5-35. As opposed to Castlemaine's 1-4-10. So a pretty handy 25-point lead. As I mentioned, I think the weather will deteriorate. The ground is bathed in sunshine, but big black clouds coming across from the west. There's the nice long kick from the full-back division by the full-back Fife. Gets it to the ground. The umpire watching carefully, and he's awarded a free out there, and will be taken on that half-back flank division by the Castlemaine side. Camoff now getting his boots to the ball down towards the centre half forward area. Up they go. The ball knocked from the ground once again. A lot of indecisive sort of actions being taken here by both clubs as they try and sort each other out. It comes towards the grandstand side of the ground. It's a race in two. To the ground it goes once again. Who's going to win out on this? Doing very well at the moment is Gary Allen. Gets it across nicely to his teammate in Noel Belser. Belser kicking towards the spaces and not the faces, has found his teammate in Mark McAvale, who came down from the forward pocket to accept it well. McAvale will be about 50 metres out from goal, drives it on its way. Certainly a nice long kick. He'll drop about 10 short, drop to the ground once more. Sandhurst had to get offensive. There's a goal coming up right through off the boots of Greg Hull, and that's Greg Hull's first for the afternoon. The sixth for Sandhurst. They move to 6-5-41. Castlemaine 1-4-10.
There's the slow motion kick of Greg Hull, right out about 20 metres directly in front, and the ball wobbles through and the umpire run underneath it. And of course Sandhurst now 6 goals 5 lead, Castlemaine 1 goal 4 as the ball is relayed back to umpire Fellows at the centre of the QEO in this Bendigo Grand Final.
A lot faster, the Sandhurst club so far this afternoon, with a 31-point lead. Pretty handy.
There's the knockout. Sandhurst get the knock through the agency of Mark Rowley coming into the action now. There's a Crouch gets a kick out, but Sandhurst in a lot of trouble there. Ball very, very scrambly now, and umpire sorting out a free kick to go to Castlemaine. Young Mills. Mills, it is a left foot kick out towards his half-forward flank. Nobody can take the mark, but it's leading in the race there for Castlemaine is Tony Strong. He's going to handball out to a teammate on the centre wing. The umpire says in the back. Umpire Darger will signal a free kick there, and it's going the way of Peter Mills, the rover for Castlemaine. Been a busy
rover, hasn't he?
Camoff and Mills, 2 of the smaller players on the ground, but they've had a ton of kicks between them so far in this game. His kick in towards the centre half forward position. No one can take the mark, but it's going to be the big boy for Castlemaine. That's Hargraves. A handball out towards the Little Rovers coming in. And once again, Mills, he gets another kick out towards centre half forward. It's all Sandhurst there. A long hand pass across there to Mark Roeder. He drops the ball. Sandhurst are having a little bit of trouble getting this ball out of the back line as Castlemaine desperately strike to score in this quarter. And here's a mark coming up for Castlemaine. No, he drops the ball, but plays on a long handball towards centre half forward. Ball is thumped on for Castlemaine. They've got the run of the ball now, and there's a snapshot from number 34, and that is Brett Fitzpatrick, the half forward flanker, in towards the forward pocket. A long handball once again for Castlemaine. These Sandhurst players are hitting them with everything this afternoon, and the player there for Castlemaine going over the line is Kamoff, pushed over the line, and the umpire says out of bounds on the full.
Waiting now for the defence of the Sandhurst club, which has been very good this afternoon to come into operation. The kick taken there by Keith Cleave out towards our broadcasting half-back flank. Big men fly, drop to the ground. Opportunist here on this occasion is none other than Tony Calviner. Gets it down towards the full forward division, 20 metres out. It's slippery out there this afternoon. I think it's these moulded soles that caused the problem. Nearly a free kick to Peter Mills, I would have thought, but play on now. We see a free kick, and it'll go the way of Andy Moore. Andy Moore, certainly in physical appearance, does not resemble his more famous brother in Peter Moore, the captain of the Collingwood side. Let's see what he can do with this. He'd be
a long
about
way down from his position, Graham.
Yes, well, I think they've got to do something. They've got to get runners down here on this half-forward line, and we wait now for Andy Moore to try and drop it through from about 35, 40 metres out from goal. On its way, it's going across the goals and is punched to the ground to allow the defence once more of Castlemaine to endeavour to get this ball away. Thought he threw that ball, but play on is the call. Under the arms there of Wayne Crosby. Certainly no effect on the game so far. He's the full forward and a straight shooter. What's he done with this one? Wayne Crosby right through the centre as Castlemaine now go to 2-4. That makes them a total of 16 as opposed to Sandhurst 6-5-41.
Well, Wayne Crosby...
Here's the kick once again off the boots of Crosby. Number 20 stamped on his back and right through the centre, and a much-needed goal for the Castlemaine boys.
Well, as you said, Graham, Wayne Crosby hardly sighted in that first term, but now Castlemaine, if ever they need a player to fire, it's Wayne Crosby, who was a dominating player in the second semi-final here at the QEO just a fortnight ago. Umpire Fellows sends the ball down for the play to get underway once again in the second term. It's thumped forward. Here's Castlemaine. Another chance to get their ball down to that forward line, and that is the little agency of Peter Mills. A busy rover for that side this afternoon. The ball down into the forward pocket. Umpire sorting out a mark, and it's going the way of Castlemaine. It's Mark Rowley.
It was a nice looking mark there. I didn't think he held it quite long enough, but there's the replay of it once again as we find it over on that half-forward flank division. Certainly an urgent goal here needed for the Castlemaine boys. They've just kicked one through Crosby. Oh, it's a shocker. Dropped short. Oh, I tell you what, I think it's gone through. Oh, that's an unbelievable goal. If we could have a look at that one again on our slow-mo replay, because it was probably the worst-looking kick you'd ever see in 100 years, and it's filled everybody, dropped underneath legs and gone right through, and we'll just have a look at it. We'll take this commercial, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Now's the time to order your end-of-season trophies from Central Trophies and Gifts. They offer substantial discounts to all sporting clubs and invite you to come in and inspect their magnificent range of trophies for all sporting occasions, with football, bowls, soccer, tennis, snooker, and many, many more. Central Trophies and Gifts also make trophies on the premises, and of course their expert engraving goes without saying. They also stock crystal, pewter and silverware. So call in now to Central Trophies and Gifts, right next door to the Golden Square Post Office.
That goal we just saw a few moments ago for the Castlemaine side was Rick Gervasoni, and a very nice looking goal too it was. In fact, it wasn't the nicest picture that you'd see, but it was nonetheless effective and went straight through the centre. The ball being taken off the back line by Andy Moore. Down it goes towards the centre half forward division again. It's a bit better from the Castlemaine boys. Now defence will come into operation for Sandhurst. Hand pass comes out here, looking forward and finding Noel Belsar. Lost it just as quickly, and it'll go over the line and out of bounds. And goal kickers now looking a little bit more substantial for the Castlemaine boys. Rick Gervasoni has kicked one, Wayne Crosby has kicked one, both in this quarter, and Stan Kamoff kicked the only goal in the first quarter, and the score now shows it 6-5-41 for Sandhurst. Castlemaine 3-4-22 as the ball dropping in the forward pocket division for the Castlemaine side, shot across towards the centre half forward division, but the easiest mark taken in defence down there for the Sandhurst side, right into the agency there of Andrew Storer. Storer now brings it out towards the centre wing. Looks like the sit coming up here for the Sandhurst boys, but no, well positioned and well done there by Castlemaine, and fell right into the arms of Ian Hargraves. Hargraves about to play on, but umpire has other ideas, and he's got to go back to the centre wing and drive it forward. That wind becoming very blustery here at the Queen Elizabeth Oval and favouring Castlemaine in this the second quarter. High it goes. Who's going to mark this? Oh, well done. Coming charging through the pack there was Stan Kamoff. Nobody else seemed to want it, and Kamoff with 25 stamped upon his back probably one of the smaller men. In fact, he and his teammate Peter Mills would be the two smallest men. 45 metres out from goal. Kamoff, can he kick a second? He can't. It'll drop short. In fact, it goes across the face of goal, drops to the ground. Opportunity coming up here, however, as it's forced through for one behind. The scoreboard now shows 3-5-23, which is a big improvement. That's the Castlemaine score to Sandhurst 6-5-41. It's waiting now for the full-back to kick out for the Dragons this afternoon, certainly doing it very nicely, and it'll be Keith Cleave. Cleave goes to the outer side of the ground. Big men needed over here. Up they go. Drops to the ground. Runners now required. And through the agency over there of Kevin Walsh, we find the Sandhurst club going into attack towards their half-forward line. Running it underneath the ball was Greg Hull. Can't make it before it goes over the line and out of bounds. And we'll see a throw-in on that half-forward flank division.
Played about 14 minutes into this, the second quarter, with Sandhurst 6-5-41, Castlemaine 3-5-23.
Certainly the ground in perfect condition as the throw-in takes place on the Sandhurst half-forward flank. Beautifully directed to the ground, and Mick Lenigan sends it forward. Sends it wide, however. Gives a big long run over there to Fife coming out from the full-back division. Does it nicely, but then loses it just as quickly. But it now found its possession again into Fife's hands as he gets it back towards the centre half-back division. Lenigan is underneath it, still going with the ball. Couldn't pick it up, so shot it across to his teammate. Hand passing there from Kevin Walsh. Gets it across, and once again we find them opening up that forward flank division, the Sandhurst club, as it drops to the ground. Here's an opportunity, but the umpire says free, and an infringement there will be paid, and it'll be Ian McClure to take it right in that centre half-back division. McClure certainly had his work cut out this afternoon. Played a pretty strong game, however, as we find him driving it into the centre of the ground.
Here's his kick right into the centre. Strong mark, no. Umpire calls play on, and here's Castlemaine into attack. They've got the run of the ball now, heading towards the centre half-forward position, but under the ball for Sandhurst is Noel Belsar, playing on the half-back flank, and kick going down 15 metres downfield from umpire Dargaville, and Belsar's kick out towards the centre wing, but it's all Castlemaine out there, and the easiest of marks, and the umpire coming in to award that free. The player did knock it out of his hands. No 15-metre penalty was awarded, and Castlemaine take the ball right in front of the grandstand. Here's the kick in towards the centre half-forward position. The big men fly once again. Castlemaine can't take the ball. Here they are once again, a long hand pass out of the thing. And it's going to be for Kamov. He knocks it on to his little rover further downfield. Kamov dives in after the ball. Umpire calls play on. Lenigan clears it for Sandhurst from the back line, but the easiest of mark once again for Castlemaine, and it's Mick Allen.
That was Peter Lenigan, and been rather quiet so far compared to his brother. There's Kamoff once again. He's the opportunist. If he can break around this, he's in business. Goes for his second shot for goal, but it's bad and goes over the line and out of bounds. I thought he did it well, Kamoff, too. And the only thing he did wrong was kick inaccurately and went over the line and out of bounds. It's at the city end of the ground at the moment, which is the defensive end for the Sandhurst club. Underneath it and taking the mark there will be Dennis O'Connor. He's already kicked one goal this afternoon, O'Connor, on the roving division, and like a true rover, doing work in the back line. Dennis O'Connor now with his opposition. Peter Mills on his mark. Round towards the centre wing it goes. Big men needed here. They're not there because they misjudged the ball. Punched nicely away on that occasion by Cleve. To the ground it goes. Once again we find a hand pass coming in here across into the centre of the ground looking for Allen. Allen gets his left boot to the ball and does it very nicely. And I tell you what, Allen, I think you might have kicked a goal, son. He has. And what a magnificent goal off the boots of Mick Allen. He's playing this afternoon on the half-back flank division, and he's come right down the ground and slammed it through as there's the left foot kick. And what a beautiful kick. It's travelled all of 55 metres to give Castlemaine their fourth on that board as they move now to 4-5-29. Sandhurst 6-5-41. We're in the second quarter.
Castlemaine coming back into the game now, Graham.
Yes, they seem to have got their system going a little bit, and it's players such as Mick Allen and Andy Moore on a centre wing division who had a kick right out in front of us here a few moments ago. The Kamoffs and players like this are starting to run the ball, and I think that's what Castlemaine have got to do. Here they go again too as we find Allen taking it away once more. Obviously reposition himself from that half-back flank as a hand pass finds its way into the arms of Shane Hartney. Hartney gets it up towards the outer half-back flank division, but the umpire, he's awarded that. I would have thought a push in the back over there, but the umpire's awarded it over there as we find it being put down towards that half-forward flank division. The big men fly, certainly too many of them on that occasion for any effective result. To the ground it goes, bit of hand passing. We'll see it again out of trouble for Sandhurst. To the centre, 2 out. Ball drops to the ground. Chasing after it there is Gary Crouch with his opposition. To the ground it goes once again as we find Sandhurst running the ball beautifully up towards their half-forward line. But a nice mark has been taken there in defence for Castlemaine as they drag it out once again from that danger area. The ball bouncing, doing a right-hand turn. This time we find Lenigan, Michael Lenigan running in. Gets tampered with, but this time by his own teammate. Now Now he's let out of the cage, gets his left boot into the ball up towards the half-forward line. Misjudging the mark there was Gary Kerwin, but a bit of hand passing here might see a result come up. Oh, I think he's thrown that, but there's the ball on its way, and it's ill-directed, but I think the umpire might give a free here as he goes in. What's he said? It was a point, so he's going to give another kick here to Sandhurst, and that was certainly a bit of action after the play on that occasion, and it's going to result in a goal, I would imagine, coming up, which is a bit foolhardy because it was only a point.
Graham, the centre half forward for Sandhurst, right in front of goal, about 20 metres out.
This will be a handy goal. Peter Road goes back. He's only about 20 metres out from goal, drops it on its way, and I think he's missed it. He has. 1 point, a bad miss, as they move now to 6-6-42 as opposed to Castlemaine's 4-5-29. The last 10 minutes have shown a little bit better result as far as Castlemaine are concerned, and I think a lot of the Sandhurst players seem to have lost their system that they had going in that first quarter, which was looking particularly pleasing if you're a Sandhurst barracker. Waiting now for the ball to be kicked out from that full-back division. A nice long driving kick, torpedoes its way to the outer side of the ground, drops to the turf. Coming in underneath it there is Gervasoni. Couldn't do much with it, however. Pretty scrambly stuff here. I think it's a bit slippery out there this afternoon. Getting underneath it is Gary Allen. Allen trying to drive it up towards the half-forward line, but that kick is short over there, but the umpire says it's over the line before that mark was taken, and a throw-in on Sandhurst's half-forward flank. We've already seen 2 premierships decided this afternoon. In the third 18, it was a win there to Golden Square, and Castlemaine defeated Sandhurst in the reserves.
20 minutes into this, the second quarter, the Bendigo Football League Grand Final, and the ball on centre wing, umpire to throw it in once again with the scoreboard 6-6 to Sandhurst, Castlemaine 4 goals 5. Going to be a pretty handy lead at half-time, which is just about 10 minutes away. Here's the throw-in. The ball bottled up on that particular flank with the wind forcing it over in that particular area a lot of times this afternoon, and neither side able to score from that particular flank. The ball bounced once again. Here's the play for Sandhurst. Lenigan been in the thick of things all day, and umpire Dargaville sorting out a free kick going the way of Lenigan on the half-forward flank for Sandhurst.
Hasn't been quite as effective as he was in the first quarter, but with about 6 or 7 kicks in that first quarter, that would have made a pretty substantial tally for the game, but nonetheless he's still been a damaging player.
The ball at centre half forward, thumped out. Here's a chance for Sandhurst. A quick pass going across towards the half forward flank. McAvale's in the run for the ball there. He's thrown off the ball by a Castlemaine player. Umpire calls play on. Here's once again a chance for McAvale. Throws out towards the forward pocket. McAvale's kick in right towards the goal square. A pack of players underneath the ball, and umpire Dargaville goes away of Castlemaine, and it's Gervasoni. Rick Gervasoni takes the kick.
Been a strong player, Gervasoni. Gervasoni bringing it out towards the grandstand half-back flank division, drops to the turf. There's well, he was leg roped and tied there, but a bit of hand passing will get him out of trouble as Cawthorne now drives it down towards the centre wing. Getting underneath it was Steve Banbury, couldn't do much with it. Now it's a chance here for the Castlemaine side through the agency of Kamoff. Kamoff certainly been a terrier in this quarter. Gets it down towards the pocket division. It'll head towards the boundary, and a throw-in will result around about 30 to 35 metres around from the Castlemaine goal. We've got about 5 minutes to go in this quarter, coming up to half-time as both clubs will regroup, and we find that there's 13 points separating the two sides, with Sandhurst being in the ascendancy. There's the throw-in. Big men will fly here. Hargraves going in, taking it, gets a right boot to the ball, puts it down to little effect on that occasion. There's a bit of defence coming up as it goes towards the boundary line once again, as we find Hargraves running in for it once more. Still in play, picked up very nicely by Gary Crouch, puts it towards the centre, looking here for his teammate. It's over the top of him, however. Picked up by Gervasoni once again, lost just as quickly. Bit of hand passing goes on, and now we find that the Sandhurst club, off the boots of Peter Road, get it up towards their centre half forward area. Mick Lenigan is underneath the ball, punched beautifully and giving by Gary Kerwin, giving him the opportunity, but again an awkward bounce sees defence come into operation, and taking it down towards the half forward line, we find the defence of Castlemaine. Now it's out towards the half-forward flank division, as we find underneath it over there is Andrew Storer. Can't do much with it. A little bit of scrambly play over here, and certainly not pretty stuff here in the 1981 Bendigo Golden City Grand Final, but it is a Grand Final, and the adrenaline would be pumping, and I think that makes a lot of mistakes quite evident. The ball once more out there on the centre wing division. This time they take it away. There's the Sandhurst club going into operation up towards the half-forward line. Nearly a good grab taken there by Ron Cawthorne. Couldn't do much with it. Still to the ground it goes, and we watch for the scrambly play to continue, as caught with the ball, in my opinion, was Mark McAvale. And what does the umpire say? He says no, he wasn't caught with the ball. It was held to him. We'll bounce it right on that centre square. Up they go. Neither side getting any advantage. In fact, there's not much advantage in the rucks this afternoon from either Castlemaine or Sandhurst, as the umpire will again show the prowess of his bouncing ability as he drops it into that hallowed turf.
Where the scoreboard, Sandhurst 6 goals, 6 lead, Castlemaine 4 goals, 5, 29 points. Here's a chance for Sandhurst going goalwards towards the centre half forward position. The pack fly, no one can take the mark. Castlemaine backmen are everywhere. They're going to relieve the pressure from the back line and play towards that flank where a player all the way out there on his own is Brett Straws. Straws gets plenty of time to get his kick along the wing, and the player there taking the mark for Castlemaine is the big ruckman Ian Hargraves. Castlemaine seem to be winning in the ruck so far in this match this afternoon. His kick towards the half-forward line. No one there. It's going to be Sandhurst easy to relieve the pressure. But here's a chance once again for Castlemaine. They're desperate in this final few minutes of the second quarter of this grand final. But from the centre, it's Hull taking it away for the Sandhurst side. He goes in towards the centre half-forward position. The big men fly down there. Off hands for McAvale. He can't get the ball away. Pack develops, and umpire Dargaville sorting out a free kick too high. And it's going to be the fullback for Castlemaine to relieve the pressure.
Bringing it out towards the broadcasting centre wing division. Once again, we find the big men flying. Drops to the ground once more as it hits the turf. This time it's going to be a chance on this occasion for Dennis O'Connor. Puts it towards the big ones. What does the umpire say? It's right through the centre, and O'Connor has done it. That's his second for the afternoon. And we find that Sandhurst now on that scoreboard will take a pretty handy lead as they go now to 7-6. And that'll make them 48 as opposed to 4-5, 29 for Castlemaine.
The Bendigo Kitchen Centre, Holmes Road, Bendigo, proudly presents the kitchens of tomorrow in a choice of modern designs, taste, colour and value at exceptionally low prices. Their showroom displays feature all the latest fashion laminates, timber veneer finishes, plus rich natural timbers. Their pride of workmanship is as important to them as value is to you. Call in and see the kitchen displays. Ask for a free, no-obligation quote at the Bendigo Kitchen Centre, Holmes Road, Bendigo.
7-6-48 to 4-5-29. The scoreboard at the moment coming up here to the half-time interval in the 1981 Grand Final. The ball, centre wing division, broadcasting side of the ground or grandstand side. Umpire Graham Fellows, the man in white with the ball, dispatches it to the ground. The big men fly. The knock taken again there by Hargraves, but the umpire says... Yeah, free kick going to Hargraves, and he'll take it on the centre wing. Probably been the one of the bigger kick getters as far as the Castlemaine club has been concerned this afternoon. And it goes towards the centre half forward area. Nearly an infringement there. Drops to the ground, taken away by Peter Lenigan. He's the runner as he gets his right boot to the ball. In fact, it was Michael Lenigan, the two bearded boys looking alike, up towards the centre of the ground. Bit of hand passing, comes off the hands there of Ian McClure. Can't get away with it. Once again, we find it into the arms of that Ian Hargraves that we mentioned before. Down it goes towards the centre wing, but the umpire indicates he'll pay the mark on that occasion as Gary Barber takes it around towards centre wing division. And a very nice grab has been taken there as he floats it in with one hand and right into the arms there of Peter Road. Peter Road now, centre wing division, bathed in sunshine, the Queen Elizabeth Oval at the moment. McAvale tried to get underneath it, but it floated over his head, dropped to the ground. Charging through the pack there was Gary Crouch, but couldn't make the break, and the umpire says going to be a free to Gary Crouch. Certainly a name synonymous with good football around the Bendigo area for many years. Gary Crouch played in quite a lot of interleague sides over many years, and with number 11 stamped on his back, has a chance for his first for the afternoon and the 8th for the Sandhurst club. Sandhurst slightly going into this game from impressions as underdogs, but we're going to wait now for Gary Crouch to try and put this one through. Gary Crouch, is he going to bring up the 8th goal? He is, Gary Crouch, as they move to 8-6, 54.
Spectacles and sunglasses from Bill Wilkinson's. Go with you everywhere. Spectacles and sunglasses from Bill Wilkinson's. Go with you everywhere.
The bounce in the centre once again, and we find this time Lenigan getting it onto his boots for the Sandhurst side, putting it forward up towards McAvale. Fell over it in an opportune time there, but it doesn't seem to make any difference as it's taken nicely onto the boots of Brett Strews. Gets it out towards the outer half-back flank division. Getting underneath it over there, but to no avail was Fitzpatrick, still doing battle for the ball as he falls over. The umpire says play on. This is an opportunity arising here for Gary Crouch. Gets a hand pass in, up towards the full forward division it goes. Eludes most players as it goes once again. As we see it dropping out of Strews' hands, the umpire will come in, I would imagine, and bounce the ball around about 30 metres out from the Sandhurst goal. Sandhurst to move to 8.6.54. A pretty handy lead coming up to half-time with Castlemaine on 4.5.29. Sandhurst scoring zone at the moment. Opportunity for a goal coming up here. What's he done with it? 1 point off the boots on that occasion of Mark McAvale. 8.7.55. Sandhurst 4.5.29 for Castlemaine.
Well, McAvale, the player on the screen there, he's been a great player in the second term for the Sandhurst side. There's the kick out from the fullback position for Castlemaine, right in front of the scoreboard, as we have played about 3 minutes already of time on, and the siren for half-time is very, very near. Here's the ball on the centre wing now. Castlemaine leader in the race for the ball. They badly need a quick goal before the half-time break, but it's a very scrambly play out there, and the umpire is awarding a free kick to go Castlemaine's way. They'll need to go forward pretty quickly as the ball comes in towards centre half forward, and the player there was Rowley. Umpire calls play on. Another free kick is sorted out, grabbed by the leg, and that player for Castlemaine is Mick Allen. Mick Allen's kick in towards the centre half forward position, and an easy mark there by Tony Strong. Strong for Castlemaine. Goes goalwards. A nice kick in towards the goal square position, but it's going to be a Sandhurst mark. No, the umpire won't pay it, and he calls play on, but now coming in to sort things out, and he'll bounce the ball about 20 metres out directly in front of the Castlemaine goal. Almost half-time at the QEO in the Bendigo Golden City Grand Final, but Sandhurst come away from the back line, playing out towards the boundary line, and underneath that ball is Sandhurst's Gary Allen.
There's the half-time siren here at the Queen Elizabeth Oval. We find that Sandhurst 8.7.55, pretty handy lead over the opposition club, of course, in Castlemaine, 4.5.29. We'll take this break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Brand new spring stock at Save Savings. Like $5 for the newest swimsuits, one-piece or bikini. Like $5.99 for new cotton nighties. $8.99 for their matching brunch coats. For men, new hull-proof tank tops and T-shirts, $1.99. Scoop leg shorts, $2.99. Pretty night things, just $4.99 each. For boys, Rio tank tops at $1.50. King G shorts just $5. It's Fosse's Daisy of a spring save with $2 off continuous curtaining, only $2.99 a metre. And for just $1.29, the latest cushion covers. And for baby, new spring rompers only $2.99. But hurry, last week to spring save for him, for her, for the kids, for your home.
I found it at Fosse's.
Isn't it time someone cleared up the confusion about air conditioning? You'll get some honest answers from McCaig Air Conditioning. Enjoy quite year-round comfort with the famous Weatherwall heat pump fully ducted air conditioning by Email Air. Few improvements can add so much to the value of your property when you install Weatherwall fully ducted air conditioning, recognized as the best unit on the market. And at the flick of a switch, you can also have one of the most economical heating systems available. Enquire now at your Email Air Weatherwall Sales Advisory Centre, McCaig Air Conditioning. We not only get the best service and the right advice, but a team of professional tradesmen and proper after-sales service. McCaig Air Conditioning, Littleton Terrace, Bendigo, right next to the YMCA. The Bendigo Apex Club presents the 1981 Gown of the Year, Tuesday, October 6 at the Flora Hill Auditorium. The evening commences at 8 p.m. Supper is provided and proceeds aid multiple sclerosis. Tickets available at MacArthur's, Powney's and Pazula's.
Half-time break here at the Queen Elizabeth Oval, where we see Sandhurst 8 goals, 7.55, leading Castlemaine 4.5.29. And of course the big grand final played at the MCG between Collingwood and Carlton yesterday afternoon. And an interesting visitor to the city of Bendigo this afternoon is the captain of the Collingwood Football Club, Peter Moore. He talks now with Bruce Wardley.
Peter, it's not one of the happiest days of the year for you at the moment.
No, it's a bit disappointing, I suppose. Playing grand finals and losing is a bit of a habit these days, and it's not much fun, but we've just got to get our heads up and not worry about it and start again next year.
Peter, can I ask what your feelings were at the end of the game yesterday? Was it not a gain?
Oh, well, you're obviously disappointed. It's not so bad when you're beaten by a side that played better, and Carlton did come up under the pressure in the last quarter and just ran over the top of us, so they deserved to win. So, it wasn't as disappointing as perhaps it was last year when we got thrashed.
Peter, what did happen to Collingwood in that last quarter? They looked very poor.
don't know whether we were poor. We were in front up till we had 4 goals up into the third quarter, and Carlton come and kicked a couple of really good goals, which got them back into it. Then kicked the first goal after the start of the last quarter, and then just ran on with it. And they had too many players running around. We just couldn't keep up with them.
Peter, were you feeling confident in the second quarter when you were taking quite a good lead?
You're never confident in the final because you're playing against a very good side and they're going to come back, and it doesn't matter how far in front you are, there's always a chance that they can get up. So we didn't relax at all, and Carlton just fought it out and fought back and got into it and got in front.
And we look at your personal performance. Were you disappointed?
I was a little disappointed. I spent most of the day on the forward line, which I wasn't too happy about. I prefer to be playing on the ball, but unfortunately I couldn't yesterday, so I wasn't very particularly pleased.
You look very slow at times. Was there still an injury problem yesterday?
Well, I wouldn't like to say, really. I think that if you take the field, you can't look for excuses. So if I went on the ground, I was fit, but perhaps wasn't running as fast as what I would have liked to have been.
Looking at today's match, your brother Andy Moore, how do you think he's going?
He started fairly slowly. He's just taken a few good marks in the second quarter there, but not holding his marks as well as what he should. I think he's got a bit of an illness at the overnight, which he hasn't been feeling too well, so hopefully he'll snap out of that during the game and get going.
Castlemaine are carrying a few injuries. Do you feel they have those finals nerves that also affect Collingwood?
I don't know. I think finals nerves affect any side. I think if they're good enough, they'll win. And like Collingwood, we were no more nervous than Carlton. But the better side won. I'm sure today the side that plays better will win. I think that probably Lonergan in the centres and Ruck Roving is doing a lot of damage and causing Castlemaine some worries. So they've got to get over him, and I think they can get up because their defence is playing very well. Just need a few forwards to kick a few goals, and they'll be right back in it.
Thank you, Peter.
Right, thanks very much.
Right, thank you very much to Bruce Wortley, talking with the Collingwood captain, Peter Moore. Now let's have a look now at the final stages of the Dash for Cash here on the QEO. Frank Cornish is your commentator.
Turnbull has now hit the front, and he will take some running down indeed. Coming down to home straight with the bell lap ringing, and Turnbull has got the bell in his side. The last lap, he's into it now. Third position is being occupied by Warwick Stagg with these 2 back markers. The run of the race, Stewart has taken the lead from Tuan there in third position, but it's still Turnbull. It defies the opposition going into the back straight, and we've got Peter Smith tiring a little bit, and we've got Rod Stewart, the Bendigo runner, who is attempting to win this for the second year. He's coming into strong calculations with third position. Down the back, and however, and Stewart is trying valiantly to get up close to Turnbull. He's about to take second position with Tuan following him, but it's still Gary Turnbull, the Ballarat runner, well clear down the back. He's put the pressure right on now, and Stewart will have to grind home very, very hard indeed. But Turnbull it is still. That wind right into his face, he's going to find it very hard. But Turnbull it is. Shortly, he's about 300 metres from the finish, but he's going very strong. Rod Stewart, he's got the head wobbling in second place, but he's valiantly trying to overhaul this leader in second position. It's going to be a great run down the straight. Turnbull it is that's first into the straight. It's a fair break he's got over Stewart, with Warwick Stagg running home third, but it's the Ballarat runner, Gary Turnbull, right down to the line. Very strong indeed. Stewart can't make any impression, and it's Gary Turnbull first. A great run by Gary. Rodney Stewart from Bendigo second, with Warwick Stagg, also Bendigonian, running third, with the other back marker, Doug Tuan, fourth.
The Bendigo Dash for Cash here at the QEO this afternoon, with Gary Turnbull of Ballarat scoring from Rod Stewart of Bendigo, and also Warwick Stagg from the Bendigo Athletic Club. A very interesting race here to keep the big crowd of patrons here at the QEO very, very interested in the afternoon's activities. We'll be back with more sports action after this break.
MaxiCrop, the world's first liquid seaweed, can improve animal health, pasture nutrition and palatability, plus regrowth after cutting, especially loosened. MaxiCrop can also increase early fruit set, improves flavour and extends shelf life. MaxiCrop reduces the effects of pests and diseases in vines, strawberries and tomatoes. MaxiCrop develops a denser root system, encouraging healthier plants, larger ears and greater yields with cereal crops. MaxiCrop is safe and easy to apply. Shouldn't you be using it?
New Davey Dynajet pressure systems give you stacks of water pressure in your shower. New Davey Dynajet gives lots of pressure to work your washing machine. New Davey Dynajet pressure systems work your dishwasher too.
Get Castlemaine pressure from your house tank. 3 Dynajet models for small homes, average homes, large homes. Low-cost, high-performance Davy Dynajet pressure systems.
For Davy Dynajet pressure systems, see the water experts at Milne's Pumping and Irrigation Division, High Street, Bendigo. See the wealth of Swan Hill and District on display this Friday and Saturday when the Swan Hill A&P Society conduct their 87th annual show. See the fabulous Wangaratta skydivers. There'll be 3 jumps made during Saturday's show. There'll be sideshows galore, a host of arena events, and a wide selection of trade exhibits. There's something for every member of the family at the bigger and brighter Swan Hill show this Friday and Saturday. We'll see you there.
At last, we have in Bendigo a computer equipment supplier who has a comprehensive backup service. Of course, it's Golden City Data Systems. Streamline your office efficiency with one of the Alpha Micro business systems. They're used all over the world, with proven software performance, accuracy, speed, and the capacity to expand as your business expands. Alpha Micro Business Systems, with authorised dealers in every capital city and now in Bendigo. See Bob and Jeff at Golden City Data Systems.
A horde of children. Peter Moore, of course, the Collingwood captain, who spoke to Bruce Wardley just a few minutes ago. The Dash for Dollars, of course, this afternoon was sponsored by the Bendigo Credit Union, and I'm sure that the Bendigo Golden City Football League are very much indebted to the amount of support they get from that particular company.
Well, of course, grand final day here in Bendigo. Early in the day, Golden Square 14-12 beat Sandhurst 7-6 in the reserve grand final. Castlemaine 7 goals 8 beat Sandhurst 5 goals 11. And at half-time here, Sandhurst 8 goals 7, 55 are leading Castlemaine 4-5, 29. To see how things are going down in the Sandhurst rooms, here is Bruce Wardley.
The feeling now in the Sandhurst rooms is quiet confidence, but not overconfidence. They know that they're tiring, and they know that the last 5 minutes of each quarter is vitally important. After a quiet first quarter, Peter Lenigan, the captain, is starting to play a captain's game, and all the players are starting to get behind him. But now it's resting, and they know they've got a big second half ahead of them. Back now to you, Graham.
Thanks very much indeed, Bruce. Bruce down there, Bruce Wardley in the Sandhurst rooms. Just having a look through some of the goal kickers, first of all. Michael Lenigan has kicked 2 for Sandhurst. Gary Allen has kicked 1. Gary Crouch 1. Mark McAvale has kicked 1. Greg Holl has kicked 1 and 2 to Dennis O'Connor. For the Castlemaine side, Mick Allen has got 1 on the board. Wayne Crosby 1. Stan Kemoff has got 1 and Rick Gervasoni has also got 1. I thought the better players as far as Sandhurst were concerned. Mick Lenigan, although not as dynamic in that quarter as he was in the first, was certainly in there doing things for his club. Gary Crouch, I thought, started to get on top in the centre in that particular quarter, and especially around the half-forward line, did a very good job. Mark Mergavale on the half-forward line is certainly giving the run around to his opponent. Peter Lenigan, as mentioned there by Bruce, was very quiet in the first quarter, and then he probably in about the last 10 to 15 minutes of that quarter started to exert some pressure from centre-half back. I thought Shane Hartney is doing well in defence as far as Sandhurst is concerned. Keith Cleave at full-back has kept his opponent Wayne Crosby down to 1 goal, so is obviously doing the trick down there, and Dennis O'Connor is obviously the best small man in the Sandhurst club. As far as Castlemaine are concerned, I thought that they were brought back into the game by their smaller men in Ian McClure and Stan Kemoff doing very well. Brett Fitzpatrick on a half-forward flank I thought was also serviceable. And in the big man division, Rick Gervasoni and also their big fellow there in Ian Hargraves, I thought were starting to get on top of their opponents in that particular quarter. Peter Fife at full-back doing a great job, the skipper of the side, of course, and has been a stonewall in defence down there and is doing also very, very well for his side. They're about the best of them, but Castlemaine seem to have taken a little bit more time than the Sandhurst club to settle down into the spirit of this game and into the smooth-flowing game that obviously took them to the top of the Bendigo and Golden City Football League Premiership table at the end of the season. They have 2 wins under their belt against the Sandhurst club as opposed to 1 this year for Sandhurst. They defeated them at this ground when last they met. But at this particular moment, I think Sandhurst must stand a pretty good chance as they've gone into the rooms at half-time with a 26-point advantage.
Well, Graham, that's the position here at half-time as we see the scoreboard. Sandhurst 8 goals 7 to Castlemaine 4-5. Our reporter Bruce Wardley, I expect, is heading towards the Castlemaine rooms at this moment, and we'll be taking this break and coming up with Bruce's report shortly.